2 weeks after the battle, the Vorthon Empire received a message that would change the galaxy forever. Fleet Master Kelthera stood before the Imperial High Command, his uniform stripped of all decorations, his head bowed in shame. He was the first fleet commander in Empire history to return home in defeat. "Explain yourself," demanded Supreme Commander Velkara, the highest military leader in the Empire. "How did 300 of our best ships lose to a primitive race that barely knows how to travel between stars?" Kelthara lifted his head. His 4 eyes were filled with pain and fear. "Supreme Commander, the humans are not primitive. They are the most dangerous enemy the Empire has ever faced. They turned their entire solar system into a weapon. They have technology we cannot understand, and now they know everything about us." The other commanders in the room began talking among themselves. How could this be possible? The Empire had never lost a major battle before. They had conquered worlds across the galaxy for over 1,000 years. "Show them the recordings," Kelthara said to his aide. The holographic display showed the battle from the Vorthon perspective. The commanders watched in silence as human weapons destroyed ship after ship. They saw the fake colony ships explode like bombs. They watched the asteroid belt reveal hidden weapons platforms. They saw the moon open up like a flower to reveal guns that could destroy planets. But the most shocking moment came at the end, when the human lunar cannon erased the flagship from existence. Several of the Imperial commanders stepped backward when they saw it. They had never imagined that such power was possible. "By the stars," whispered Admiral Zekmor, one of the Empire's most experienced commanders. "They turned their moon into a weapon. Their entire planet is a fortress. How long have they been preparing for war?" "According to our intelligence," Kelthara replied, "they have been building these defenses for at least 50 years. They knew we were coming long before we knew they existed." Supreme Commander Velkara was silent for a long time. Finally, she spoke. "What do the humans want from us?" "Nothing," Kelthara said. "They do not want to conquer us or rule us. They only want us to leave them alone. But Supreme Commander, there is something else. Something worse." He activated another holographic display. This one showed star charts and fleet positions throughout Imperial space. Every base, every ship, every strategic location was marked and identified. "They have complete intelligence on our entire military," Kelthara explained. "They know where every important installation is located. They know how many ships we have and where they are stationed. If they wanted to attack us, they could destroy our most important bases before we could defend ourselves." The room was completely quiet. Every commander understood what this meant. For the first time in Imperial history, the Empire was at a disadvantage. An enemy knew their secrets while they knew almost nothing about human capabilities. Meanwhile, on Earth, Commander Gitaik O led a fleet of new human ships beyond the solar system for the first time. These vessels were not like the old Earth ships that had been designed for defense. They were built for war across interstellar distances. The ships were painted black to blend in with space. They carried the most advanced weapons human science could create, and they were crewed by soldiers who had just proven they could defeat the galaxy's most powerful empire. "All ships maintain stealth mode," Commander O ordered. "We're going to take a look at our new neighbors and make sure they understand the message Admiral Kim sent them." Dr. Sana Park worked from her mobile laboratory aboard the lead ship. She was analyzing every piece of information they had captured from the Vorthon fleet. The intelligence was so detailed that humans now knew more about Imperial military capabilities than most Vorthon commanders did. "Commander," she reported, "I've identified 17 Imperial worlds that have populations of conquered species. These races were enslaved by the Empire over the past few centuries." Commander O nodded. "Mark those locations. We might want to visit them later." General Hyojun. Lee supervised the construction of humanity's new deep space fleet from his office on Mars. The shipyards that had been hidden during the battle were now working at full capacity. Every day, new warships rolled out of the construction bays, each one more advanced than anything the Vorthon Empire possessed. "How many ships will we have ready by the end of the year?" asked Admiral Kim during their weekly planning meeting. 200, General Lee replied, "all equipped with the new weapons we developed during the battle. And Admiral, these ships are not designed for defense. They're built to project power anywhere in the galaxy." Admiral Kim looked out at the construction yards where humans were building the tools of their new destiny. "Good. The Empire needs to understand that Earth is no longer just defending itself. We're taking an active role in galactic politics." 6 months after the battle, Ambassador Ji-hoon Song received an unexpected visitor at the New Earth Embassy on the neutral world of Kepler Station. It was a Vorthan diplomat, but not one from the Empire's government. This alien represented a group of Imperial worlds that wanted to break away from the Empire's control. Ambassador Song, the Vorthan said, "My people have heard about what happened at Earth. For the first time in Imperial history, someone stood up to the Empire and won. This has given hope to many worlds that have lived under Imperial rule for centuries." Ambassador Song leaned back in his chair. This was an interesting development. "What exactly are you asking from us?" "Protection," the alien said simply. "If our worlds declare independence from the Empire, we will need someone to help us defend that independence. The Empire will send fleets to reconquer us. We cannot fight them alone." "I see." Ambassador Song had been expecting something like this. Admiral Kim had predicted that the Empire's defeat would inspire rebellion throughout their territory. "I will need to discuss this with my government, but I can tell you this. Earth is not interested in building an empire of our own. However, we are very interested in helping people who want to be free." Back on Earth, Dr. Yejin Choi finished writing the document that would become known throughout the galaxy as the Terran Protection Protocols. It was a simple agreement that any world or species could sign. Earth would protect them from conquest or slavery, but in return they had to agree to treat all intelligent life with respect and dignity. "The age of empires is ending," she wrote in her final report. "Humanity has shown the galaxy that even the most powerful military force can be defeated by people fighting for their freedom. Now it is time to build something better than empire. It is time to build a community of free worlds." Admiral Kim stood on the observation deck of the New Earth Defense Force headquarters, looking out at the solar system that had become the most heavily defended space in the galaxy. Human ships patrolled everywhere, their crews trained and ready for any threat. But she was not thinking about war anymore. She was thinking about the future. The message from the Vorthan Empire had arrived that morning. It was their formal agreement never to enter human space again, and their request for a peace treaty between Earth and the Empire that had conquered 17 races, had been forced to ask for peace from a species they had tried to enslave. She opened her personal log and began to record the final entry about the battle that had changed everything. Admiral's log, final entry. 6 months ago, the Vorthan Empire came to our solar system and demanded that humanity surrender our worlds and accept slavery. They believed we were weak because we were young. They thought we would be easy to conquer because we had never faced an enemy like them before. She paused, watching a squadron of human fighters patrol past the space station. They were wrong about everything. Humanity had been preparing for this day for 50 years. We had built weapons they could not imagine and turned our entire solar system into a fortress. When they attacked us, we destroyed their fleet and sent them home in defeat. Admiral Kim turned away from the window and looked directly at the camera. The galaxy now knows the truth about humanity. We are not conquerors or empire builders. We do not want to rule other species or take their worlds. But we will never allow anyone to threaten our freedom or the freedom of those who ask for our protection." She smiled. And for the first time in months, it was a peaceful smile rather than a warrior's grin. "Earth's final warning has been delivered. Terran space is sovereign territory. The galaxy has been told, leave us alone and we will leave you alone. Threaten our worlds or our friends and face the consequences. The Vorthan Empire learned this lesson the hard way. Hopefully others will be smarter." The recording ended. Outside the space station, human ships continued their patrol of the solar system that had become the strongest fortress in the galaxy. The age of human isolation was over. Earth had become a power that even mighty empires had to respect. And across the galaxy, on worlds that had been enslaved for centuries, people looked up at the stars and whispered the name of the small blue planet that had shown them that freedom was possible. Earth. Admiral So-Young Kim watched the main screen as the broken Vorthan fleet tried to decide what to do. Many of their ships were badly damaged and leaking air into space. Others had lost their weapons completely. The mighty empire that had conquered 17 races was now limping away from a fight with humans. Captain Dongwoo Park led his fighter squadron through the wreckage of alien ships. Pieces of golden metal floated everywhere, along with the bodies of Vorthan soldiers who had thought they were invincible. His pilot stayed alert, ready to attack if any of the alien ships tried to fight again. "Blue leader to all squadrons," he called over the radio. "Keep your weapons ready. Some of these aliens might try something desperate, but the fight was going out of the Vorthon fleet. Their rigid military training had not prepared them for this kind of warfare. They were used to battles where both sides lined up their ships and fired at each other until one side gave up. They had never fought an enemy that used tricks, traps, and weapons they had never seen before. Dr. Subin Han worked at her station in the Psychological Warfare Center. She was a scientist who studied how alien minds worked. For years, she had been preparing special radio broadcasts designed to make Vorthon soldiers afraid and confused. "Beginning psychological warfare broadcast," she announced, using frequency modulation that causes discomfort to Vorthon brain patterns. The broadcast went out on every radio channel the aliens used. The messages were simple but effective. They told the Vorthon soldiers that Earth had unlimited weapons, that resistance was hopeless, and that their empire had lied to them about how powerful they really were. Within minutes, the effect was visible. Vorthon ships began moving away from each other instead of staying in formation. Some crews were arguing with their officers. The perfect discipline of the Empire's military was breaking down under the pressure of fighting an enemy they could not understand. Fleet Master Kelthara tried to keep control of his fleet, but it was too late. His ships were scattered across the solar system. Many of them had stopped responding to his orders. Some were trying to surrender. Others were preparing to run away as fast as they could, but the humans were not finished with them yet. Brigadier General Kyung-ho Nam had been waiting for the aliens to break formation. Now he could use Earth's most powerful weapons without worrying about hitting his own ships. "Activate the planetary defense grid," he ordered. "Show them what happens when you threaten Earth." The planet itself began to change. Mountain ranges opened up to reveal massive weapon installations. Desert areas that had looked empty suddenly sprouted defense platforms. Even the oceans joined the fight, as underwater bases launched missiles at the alien fleet. Earth had become a fortress planet. Every continent, every island, every piece of land had been turned into a weapon aimed at anyone who dared attack humanity's home. The aliens had thought they were fighting a few human spaceships. Instead, they had picked a fight with an entire world. Colonel Mi Young-yu coordinated the ground-based weapons from her command center under the Rocky Mountains. She had grown up on Earth and loved every mountain, every forest, every ocean on the planet. No alien empire was going to take that away from her. "All ground stations, fire at will," she commanded. "Let them see what Earth looks like when it's angry." Beams of energy reached up from the planet's surface, targeting the remaining Vorthon ships. These weapons were different from the ones on human spaceships. They used Earth's magnetic field and rotation to create effects that no space-based weapon could match. One Vorthon cruiser was caught by a magnetic pulse that shut down all its electronics. The ship went dark and began falling toward Earth's atmosphere. Another alien vessel was hit by a gravity wave that spun it around so fast that the crew inside was knocked unconscious. But the real shock came when Commander Sungwon Lee activated the moon's hidden weapons for a second time. The lunar base had been charging its most powerful guns, while the smaller weapons fought the alien fleet. Now it was ready to deliver a killing blow. "Main cannon charged and ready," his weapons officer reported. "Target locked on the alien flagship. Fire," Commander Lee ordered. The beam that came from the moon was brighter than the sun. It crossed the distance to the Vorthon flagship in less than a second. When it hit, the enormous alien ship simply stopped existing. The beam was so powerful that it turned the entire vessel into energy, leaving only a brief flash of light where the ship had been. Fleet Master Kelthara felt his command ship shake as the energy from the destroyed flagship washed over his fleet. 10,000 of his best warriors had just died in an instant. The humans had weapons that could erase ships from reality itself. His communications officer was crying, something Kelthara had never seen a Vorthon soldier do before. "Sir," the young alien said, "the fleet is requesting permission to surrender. They don't want to die like the flagship crew." Kelthara looked at his tactical display one more time. Of his original 312 ships, only 47 were still able to move. The rest were destroyed, damaged beyond repair, or had already surrendered to human forces. The greatest fleet in Vorthon. History had been defeated by a race the Empire had dismissed as primitive. "Open a channel to the human admiral," he said quietly. "Admiral." Kim's face appeared on his screen again. She still looked calm, as if destroying the most powerful fleet in the galaxy was just another day's work for her. "Fleet Master," she said, I believe you have something to say to me. Kelthera straightened in his command chair. Even in defeat, he was still a warrior of the Empire. Admiral Kim, we surrender. The Vorthan fleet surrenders to Earth. It was the first time in Empire history that a Vorthan fleet had ever surrendered to anyone. Admiral Kim nodded. Very good. You have made a wise choice. Here are my terms. Your ships will power down all weapons and prepare to leave this system immediately. You will take a message back to your Empire, and you will never return to human space. And what message? Kelthara asked. Tell your Empire that Earth is not interested in conquest or expansion. We want to be left alone, but if anyone threatens our worlds or our people again, they will face the same fate you have faced today. We have shown you mercy because you surrendered. Next time we might not be so generous. Admiral Kim paused, then continued. One more thing, Fleet Master. We now have complete records of your ship designs, your weapons, and your tactics. We know where your empire is located and how strong your military really is. If you attack us again, we will be ready. The transmission ended. Kelthara sat in his command chair, thinking about what he had just heard. The humans had not just defeated his fleet. They had studied it, learned from it, and now they knew everything about Vorthan military capabilities. Captain Woojin Kim escorted the surviving alien ships to the edge of the solar system. His weapons were trained on their engines, ready to destroy any ship that tried to turn around and fight. But the aliens had learned their lesson. They limped away from Earth as fast as their damaged ships could carry them. Dr. Suna Park worked in the intelligence center, analyzing all the data they had captured from the alien ships. Navigation records, star charts, military communications, fleet positions. The humans now knew everything about the Vorthan Empire's military organization. Admiral, she reported, we have a complete map of their territory. We know where every important base is located, how many ships they have, and what their strategic weaknesses are. Admiral Kim smiled. The Vorthans had come to conquer Earth, but instead they had given humanity the keys to their entire empire. It was the biggest intelligence victory in human history. Good work, Doctor. Now we know everything we need to know about our new neighbors. Let's make sure they understand that Earth is not afraid of them anymore. The battle was now in full swing. Space around Earth blazed with weapons fire and explosions. The Vorthan Empire's golden ships, which had seemed so powerful just hours before, were being torn apart by human weapons they had never imagined. Commander Do-hyun Kim rolled his fighter through a cloud of debris that used to be a Vorthan destroyer. His squadron had just finished their third attack run, and they had not lost a single pilot. The alien gunners could not track targets as small and fast as human fighters. Blue Squadron, this is Blue Leader, he called over the radio. Form up on me. We're going after their command ship. Behind him, his pilots followed in perfect formation. They had trained for this their entire careers. Every human fighter pilot had to prove they could fly through Earth's asteroid belt, blindfolded before they were allowed to fight in space. That training was saving their lives today. The Vorthan fighters tried to intercept them, but the aliens flew like they were following a textbook. Their movements were predictable and slow. Human pilots, who had learned to fly by dodging rocks and debris around Earth, danced around the alien ships like they were standing still. From the hidden fortress on Mars, Captain Soo-Jin Lee watched her railguns tear through another Vorthan cruiser. The aliens had finally figured out that their shields were useless against solid projectiles, but it was too late. Half their fleet was already destroyed or badly damaged. Target the big one, she ordered her gunners. The ship with all the gold decorations. That's their commander. The massive railgun turned slowly, aiming at Fleet Master Kelthera's flagship. The ship was enormous, bigger than anything humans had ever built. But size meant nothing against a weapon that fired metal slugs at nearly the speed of light. Dr. Jin-Woo Choi stood in Earth Command, analyzing the alien technology as fast as the battle computers could process it. Every shot the aliens fired, every movement their ships made, gave him more information about their weaknesses. Admiral, he reported to So-Young Kim, I found something interesting. Their ships all use the same shield frequency. If we adjust our weapons to match that frequency, we can make their shields completely useless. Admiral Kim smiled. It was not a kind smile. Do it. Send the frequency data to all our ships. Across the human fleet, weapons officers adjusted their settings. Suddenly, Vorthan's shields began flickering and failing all across the battlefield. Ships that had seemed invincible moments before were now defenseless against human weapons. But the aliens were not finished yet. Fleetmaster Kelthara had one more trick to try. He ordered his remaining heavy ships to make a direct attack on Earth itself. If he could threaten the human home planet, maybe they would surrender to save their people. Major Hana, Shin watched from the Earth Defense Command as 30 Vorthon ships broke away from the main battle and headed straight for Earth. These were the aliens' biggest and most powerful vessels. Even damage, they could do terrible harm to the planet if they reached it. All orbital platforms, this is Earth Defense, she called out. We have incoming heavy cruisers. Activate Protocol 9. Around Earth's orbit, what had looked like simple communication satellites suddenly revealed their true nature. They were actually weapon platforms, hidden in plain sight for decades. Their stealth systems shut down, and suddenly space around Earth was filled with human military stations. Brigadier General Kyung-ho Nam had been waiting for this moment his entire career. He commanded Earth's orbital defense grid, the most powerful defensive system ever built by humans. As the Vorthon ships entered Earth's gravity well, he gave the order to fire. Beams of energy reached out from 100 different platforms. The weapons used principles that the aliens had never seen before. Human scientists had spent decades developing new types of physics, things that the Empire had never bothered to study because they thought such things were impossible. The first Vorthon ship to die was caught by a gravity beam that twisted space around it. The ship was crushed by its own weight as the gravity increased to thousands of times normal. The second ship was hit by a weapon that aged its metal hull by thousands of years in just seconds, turning the mighty warship into rust and dust. Colonel Mi Young-yu coordinated the orbital defense from her command station. She had been born on Earth and had never lived anywhere else. This planet was her home, and she would die before she let aliens conquer it. Focus fire on the lead ship, she ordered. That's their flagship. Kill it and the others might surrender. But the humans had one more surprise waiting. As the Vorthon ships got closer to Earth, they noticed something strange about the moon. The satellite that had been in Earth's sky for billions of years was opening up like a flower. Commander Sung-Wan Lee stood in the command center deep inside the moon. For 50 years, humans had been hollowing out their satellite and turning it into the ultimate weapon. What the aliens thought was a dead rock was actually humanity's greatest military base. Main guns powered and ready, reported his weapons officer. We have a clear shot at all enemy vessels. The moon's surface split open in a dozen places. From each opening came weapons that could crack continents. The guns were so large that each shot used enough energy to power a city for a year. When they fired, the light was visible from the outer planets. The Vorthon flagship took a direct hit from the lunar cannons. Its shields, already weakened by human technology, collapsed completely. The ship's hull, made of metal stronger than anything found on Earth, began to melt and break apart. Fleetmaster Kelthara felt his ship shake around him. Alarms were ringing everywhere. Half his crew was dead or injured. His mighty fleet, which had conquered 17 different races, was being destroyed by primitives who should not have been able to fight back. Sir, his communications officer called out. We're receiving a message from the human admiral. On his screen appeared the face of Admiral So-Young Kim. She looked calm and professional, like she was discussing the weather instead of commanding a battle that was destroying his fleet. Fleetmaster Kelthara, she said, you are defeated. Your fleet is broken. Your ships are burning. But I am offering you something your empire has never offered to others. I am giving you a chance to live. Kelthara stared at her. Around him, his bridge crew waited to hear what the human would say next. Order your remaining ships to stop fighting and prepare to leave our system, Admiral Kim continued. Do this now, and you will be allowed to return to your empire. Refuse and we will destroy every one of your ships. The choice is yours. The alien fleetmaster looked at his tactical display. Of his 312 ships, only 67 were still able to fight. The humans had not even used their full strength yet. He could see more human ships appearing from hidden bases throughout the system. Earth had turned their entire solar system into a trap, and he had flown right into it. Sir, his tactical officer said quietly, the humans have weapons pointed at us from every direction. Our shields are down. Our engines are damaged. If we keep fighting, we will all die. For the first time in his centuries-long career, Fleetmaster Kelthara was forced to consider something he had never thought about before. Surrender. The mighty Vorthon Empire, conqueror of worlds and destroyer of civilizations, had met its match in a species they had dismissed as weak and primitive. Now they were learning the truth about humanity. When cornered, humans did not surrender. They fought back with everything they had, and they never gave up. Commander Hyun-Soo Park stood on the bridge of the big Earth ship called Indomitable. He looked out at the dark space around their home system. The stars looked normal today, just like they had for the past 20 years since he started working for the Earth Defense Force. But something felt different. The sensors had been picking up strange readings all morning. "Sir, we have contact," said Lieutenant Bo-Ra Lee from her station. She was the person who handled all the radio messages from other ships. Her voice sounded worried. "Multiple ships coming out of hyperspace at the edge of our solar system." Hyun-Soo walked over to look at her screen. What he saw made his heart beat faster. Hundreds of golden ships appeared in space, each one bigger than anything Earth had ever built. They came in perfect formation like they had done this many times before. Admiral So-Young Kim walked onto the bridge. She was an old woman with gray hair and scars on her face from the wars Earth had fought against other human colonies. She had been fighting for Earth for over 40 years. When she saw the alien ships on the main screen, her face became hard like stone. "How many?" she asked. 312 ships, Admiral," said Bo-Ra Lee. "They're all bigger than our biggest warships." Admiral Kim nodded slowly. She had been expecting this day for a long time. Everyone in the Earth Defense Force had been training for it. "Any messages from them?"
"Yes, Admiral."
"Coming in now." The main screen changed to show an alien face. The creature had blue skin and 4 eyes. It wore what looked like a fancy military uniform covered in gold. When it spoke, its voice was deep and commanding. "I am Fleetmaster Kelthera of the Great Vorthan Empire," the alien said. "We have come to claim this star system for our empire. All humans living in this system have exactly 72 standard hours to leave. You will be moved to worlds where you can live under our protection. Do not resist. We have conquered 17 other races. None of them could stop us." The alien's 4 eyes looked directly at the camera. "Your weapons are weak. Your ships are small. Your people are few. We do not wish to hurt you, but we will if you try to fight us. Leave now and you will live. Stay and fight and you will die." The message ended. The bridge was quiet for a moment. Everyone was thinking about what they had just heard. 300 alien warships against Earth's small fleet. It seemed impossible to win. But Admiral Kim did not look scared. She had been preparing for this day since the first reports came in about the Vorthan Empire 20 years ago. Earth had learned about them from other alien races who had escaped the Empire's conquest. Those refugees had warned Earth that the Vorthans were coming and that they always won. "Open a channel to all Vorthan ships," Admiral Kim said. Bo-Ra Lee worked at her controls. "Channel open, Admiral." Admiral Kim looked at the camera that would send her message to the alien fleet. Her voice was calm but strong. "This is Admiral So-Young Kim of the Terran Defense Force. You have entered our space without permission. You have threatened our people and our worlds. We do not accept your demands." She paused for a moment, then continued. "You have 24 hours to leave our solar system. If you do not leave, we will consider your presence an act of war. This is your only warning." The response came quickly. Fleetmaster Kelthera appeared on screen again, but this time he was laughing. "Foolish humans. You think you can threaten the mighty Vorthan Empire? We have ships that can destroy planets. We have weapons that can burn suns. What do you have? A few metal ships and the dreams of a young race. You will learn," Admiral Kim said quietly. "Close the channel." The screen went dark. Admiral Kim turned to face her crew. Every person on the bridge was looking at her, waiting for orders. "Signal all ships," she said. "Activate Protocol 7. Send the message to Luna Base, Mars Command, and all defense stations. Tell them it's time." Hyun-Soo felt a chill run down his back. Protocol 7 was the code name for Earth's secret plan. For 50 years, since humans first went to the stars, they had been preparing for this day. They had built weapons the aliens had never seen. They had hidden military bases where enemies would never think to look. They had made Earth into the strongest fortress in the galaxy. Dr. Jin-Woo Choi came onto the bridge. He was the scientist who knew more about alien technology than anyone else on Earth. For 20 years, he had been studying pieces of Vorthan ships that had been captured in small battles at the edge of human space. He knew their weaknesses. "Admiral," Dr. Choi said, "I have finished checking our weapons. Everything is ready. The aliens don't know what humans can do when we fight for our home." Admiral Kim nodded. "How long do you think it will take them to realize they made a mistake?" "Not long," Dr. Choi said with a small smile. The Vorthons have never fought a race like us. They're used to conquering people who give up easily, but humans don't give up. Outside the ship, the Vorthon fleet began moving toward Earth. Their ships were beautiful and terrible, covered in gold metal that shined in the light of the sun. They moved slowly like they had all the time in the world. They had conquered so many other races that they thought this would be easy too. But they were wrong. Earth had been waiting for them. Hidden all through the solar system were weapons and defenses the aliens could not imagine. Human engineers had spent decades building them. Human soldiers had spent years training to use them, and now it was time to show the galaxy what happened when someone threatened Earth. Admiral Kim looked out at the enemy fleet one more time. "Send a message to all Earth colonies," she said. "Tell them we are about to fight for the freedom of humanity. Tell them that no matter what happens here, we will not surrender. Earth will never bow to any empire. The battle for humanity's future was about to begin." 18 hours had passed since the Vorthon Empire gave their demand. Captain Min Ho Jung flew his small spy ship through the dark space between the alien vessels. His ship was painted black and had special technology that made it almost invisible to enemy sensors. The aliens could not see him as he took pictures and recorded everything about their fleet. Min Ho had been flying spy missions for 15 years. He was one of the best pilots in the Earth Defense Force. As he flew past the huge golden ships, he smiled. The aliens had made a big mistake. They thought human technology was hundreds of years behind theirs. They had not even bothered to scan the solar system properly. If they had, they would have found Earth's hidden surprises. On the moon, General Yoon Ji-han walked through the secret military base built deep under the surface. For 30 years, this base had been growing. What looked like simple mining operations to outside observers was actually the largest military complex humans had ever built. Thousands of soldiers worked here, preparing weapons and ships that most people on Earth did not even know existed. "Activate all hidden stations," General Han ordered. "It's time to show them what we really have." All across the solar system, things that had looked innocent began to change. The space stations that collected solar energy suddenly grew weapons from hidden compartments. The asteroid mining ships revealed that they were actually powerful warships. The cargo vessels flying between planets dropped their fake outer hulls and showed the military equipment underneath. Engineer Tae Min Yoon worked at the controls of humanity's most secret weapon. It was called the Sol Defense Network, and it was built into what looked like ordinary satellites around the sun. For 20 years, these satellites had been collecting the sun's energy, but they could do much more than that. They could focus all that energy into a beam so powerful it could destroy an entire city. Dr. Hee-jin Nam stood beside him, checking the power readings. She was the person who had designed this weapon system. She had spent her whole life studying how to turn a star into a weapon. "Power levels are at maximum," she reported. "We can fire at any time." The Vorthon ships moved closer to Earth. Fleet Master Kelthera sat in his command chair, feeling proud. Soon he would send a message to the Empire's capital, telling them about another easy victory. The humans had not even tried to run away. This would be the fastest conquest in Vorthon history. But something was bothering his sensor officer. "Sir," the young Vorthon said, "I'm getting strange readings from the human colony ships." "What kind of strange readings?" Kelthara asked. "They're moving too fast. The gravity forces should kill everyone inside. But the ships keep accelerating." Kelthara looked at the tactical display. The human ships were indeed moving at impossible speeds. No living thing could survive those forces. "Send fighters to intercept them," he ordered. "Capture one so we can see what's inside." Scout Captain Young Ho Seo watched from his hidden position near Pluto as the Vorthon fighters moved toward the fake colony ships. He was controlling 12 of the decoy vessels from his small command ship. Each decoy looked exactly like a real colony ship full of families trying to escape, but inside they carried something very different. "All decoys are in position," he reported to Earth Command. "The aliens are taking the bait." Lieutenant Ah Young Park sat in the intelligence center on Earth, listening to Vorthon radio messages. She could speak their language because Earth had been preparing for this day for decades. The aliens were becoming confused. Their easy conquest was not going as planned. "Admiral," she reported to So Young Kim, "the Vorthons are starting to worry. They don't understand why our ships can move so fast. They think we might have better technology than they expected." Admiral Kim nodded. "Good. Confusion is the first step toward defeat. Are our people ready? Yes, Admiral. All defense stations report ready. The Sol Defense Network is charged and waiting. Our fighter pilots are in their ships. Everyone is waiting for your order. The Vorthon fighters reached the first human decoy ship. As they got close, trying to capture it, the decoy suddenly exploded in a brilliant nuclear fireball. The explosion was so bright it could be seen from Earth. 3 Vorthon fighters were destroyed instantly. Fleet Master Kelthara stood up from his chair. What happened? He demanded. The human ship self-destructed, his tactical officer reported. It was a trap. There was no one alive on that ship. Before Kelthara could respond, more explosions lit up the space around his fleet. Every human ship his fighters had tried to capture turned out to be a bomb. Dozens of his best pilots were killed in the blasts. Sir, his sensor officer called out, I'm detecting massive energy readings from the asteroid belt. The asteroid belt? Kelthara was confused. What could be in the asteroid belt? Unknown, sir. But the energy readings are off the charts. Commander Do-hyun Kim led the first squadron of real human fighters away from their hidden base inside a large asteroid. His ship was small and fast, painted the same gray color as Space Rocks. Behind him flew 50 more fighters just like his. They had been waiting inside fake asteroids for this moment. Remember your training, he told his pilots over the radio. We're smaller and faster than they are. Use that advantage. Hit them hard and get out before they can shoot back. The human fighters burst out of the asteroid belt like angry hornets. The Vorthons had never seen ships move like this before. Human pilots, trained in Earth's strong gravity and the dangerous asteroid fields, could fly in ways that seemed impossible to aliens who had grown up in space. Captain Soo-Jin Lee brought the weapons of the Mars defense platform online. For 20 years, this base had been hidden under the surface of the Red Planet. The Vorthons had scanned Mars and seen only old mining equipment. They had not looked deep enough to find the massive railguns buried in the planet's crust. All weapons ready, she reported. We have a clear shot at their main battle group. The railguns fired. These weapons did not use lasers or plasma like most space weapons. They used pure speed, shooting metal projectiles at a large part of the speed of light. The Vorthon shields were designed to stop energy weapons, not solid objects moving at incredible speeds. The first shot hit a Vorthon cruiser right in the middle. The ship's shields flickered and died. The metal projectile went right through the ship, splitting it in half. The aliens inside died instantly. Dr. Jinwoo Choi watched the battle from Earth Command. His research into alien technology was proving correct. Admiral, he reported, their shields can't handle kinetic weapons. Our railguns are cutting through their defenses like they're made of paper. But the real surprise was still coming. Colonel Jae Sung-oh prepared to activate the Sol Defense Network. The satellites around the sun had been charging for hours. Now they were ready to show the galaxy's most powerful weapon. Firing in 3, 2, 1, a beam of pure sunlight, focused and concentrated by human technology, reached across space in an instant. It struck the Vorthon flagship's escort ship and simply erased it from existence. The ship did not explode or burn. It just disappeared, turned into atoms by the power of a star. Fleet Master Kelthara felt fear for the first time in his long life. These humans were not the weak primitives he had expected. They were something else entirely, something dangerous.